Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're looking into solving the Z running hot, that issue that we were having at the last event when it was creeping up to 235, 230 degrees coolant temp. It's too high. So we got a brand new Mishimoto Radiator, and we're going to build our own fan shroud for some 1750 CFM fans that we picked up. So let's just jump right into it. Okay guys, so just wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at. Got the radiator up here. Took some quick measurements off of the radiator, and basically we had our big sheet of aluminum. I don't know if I even showed you guys, but it was this 1/8 inch thick sheet, and it was 18 by 36, which was a tad too big, so we had to cut about yay off the side of it. And I did that in the back. I've got a table saw. It's mostly for wood, but your wood saw will cut aluminum. So as long as you've got the right amount of teeth for the thickness, it did fine. It cut pretty straight. User error, I got a little crooked, but I mean, it's like a 1/16 of an inch off. So I'm gonna be filling around where this fan shroud goes onto the radiator with some foam, and we shouldn't have any problem. I just don't want it to vibrate on the radiator and make holes or anything. So, but anyway, we got that cut, and then now we have our little brake halfway set up, right? So we're gonna do I still gotta put the handles in, and I'm missing my table clamp, one of these. I only have this part of it, so I gotta find that. I don't know, I looked over in that mess, but I don't know where it is, so I'll find that. We'll get this clamped down, but it's just a cheap brake from Harbor Freight. You can get one at Northern Tool as well. The clutch one's essentially the same design, but it's 40 bucks more. So the only problem that these little brakes have is that this piece here that you're breaking your aluminum over, that you're bending this up over, it doesn't attach, so you have to just clamp it down. And if you've got something thick with a lot of resistance, it's going to want to slide this whole, like this side's not clamped, so, but even clamped, it'll want to do that. So you get crooked bends. So I'm going to test a strip on the scrap piece first, obviously. And if I need to, I will weld in some stops, throughout it. That way it can't move back. So once you clamp it down, it'll hit those stops. So that's the plan on that if we need to. We'll kind of see. But that's kind of where we're at. We got our piece cut down to size and getting our brake set up, and then we'll start bending aluminum. And then once we get it bent, we'll mock up where we want to put the fans on the shroud itself, cut them out, get our rib nuts, pop them in, bolt the fans on, and then essentially we'll braze the corners so where it's airtight, and then it'll be ready to go in the car. So that's the plan. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So let's get going again. All right, guys, welcome back to round 2 of the radiator slash what am I saying? Radiator slash shroud build. So this is the amount of bend. And look at like the radius, how wide it is, that I could barely get out of that little brake. I don't think it's really a problem with the brake. I think it's the metal's just too thick for that particular brake. I think it just can't handle it. So packed it up. I'm gonna return it because I'm not really gonna do anything super thin around here, especially not in like steel. I'll just get a regular brake at some point down the road. But anyway, so the plan is now to cut 3/4 inch strips off of our plate, this guy right here, and then just braze those on, because it's not going to be holding anything up. It's just sealing up the shroud, so it should be fine. Let me turn you guys this way. Anyway, so there's no really stress on it. So that's the plan. I'm going to try that, and then so let's go back there. We're going to cut some strips, and then I'll see you back up here. All right, guys, so went to the back, got our pieces cut. So they're gonna sit on here, obviously, something like that. I'll have to trim these down, but they'll go in there something like so. That and that. Got this scuffed up. That way it's kind of ready to go. And we'll get to brazing these guys on there. So obviously forgot to take into account that I'm cutting off another 3/4 of an inch off of these guys. So I'll probably just do that up here with the cutting wheel. No big deal. It's easy to go straight on a little tiny piece like that. So actually we can probably, Drew's gonna grab the old radiator. So you can see the thickness of the core here. I don't know, it's about a 1.5 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood. All aluminum. Mishimoto versus stock. It's about a 1/2 inch. So you've got basically a full inch difference between the cores. So this thing is obviously going to hold a lot more coolant. And
see, all the mounting points are actually like spot on.
They're the same
with the radiator.
Yeah, they're the same.
That actually looks pretty good.
So, but yeah, it's going to work fine. Petcock on the Mishimoto.
Same spot.
Same spot. I mean,
identical.
This is for an HR. Mishimoto doesn't make a fan shroud for the HR, which is why we're building our own. But I was gonna braze it, like I said earlier. It's just not working. It's not holding. I can't get the base. I can't get this. I can't get it hot enough. So it's not flowing into that piece. It's just sticking to the smaller pieces and coming right off. So the guys at No Drift, they have an AC TIG machine. I've never TIG welded before, but there's a first time for everything, I guess. So we're gonna go give it a shot. And if I need to go pick up some consumables for Dom or whatever I need to do to help him out for letting me use his stuff, we'll do that. So we're gonna head over there, gonna try to knock this out, and then we'll be back here later. All right, guys, so we decided the best course of action, since this car has to be ready for the end of the month to go shred, what, 350 miles away from home at Mid-Pond, that the stock fans worked. They never didn't work. I just wanted a little bit of an upgrade. So, but in the, how do I want to say this? I need it done quicker. I can't afford to have this car down for this whole weekend, because next weekend, I only have 1 day off next weekend. And that means that day has got to be spent getting this car loaded on the trailer, making sure the trailer's all good, the bearings are good. I mean, everything should be fine on the trailer, but I always want to check it over, especially when we're going that far away from home. And I'm in a time crunch. So we're gonna put the factory fans back in. We've got the radiator in. We'll put the factory fans back in, but we're still gonna take the fan shroud to the shop, see if we can't get it welded up, and then if I need to, after the event, come home, we can do some more fab work and stuff like that. This would have been different had I not ordered the wrong piece of metal the first go round, but I did. And so we lost basically a whole week kind of waiting on the metal to get here and stuff like that. So it is what it is. It happens. And we're gonna work through it. So, but Drew and I got the radiator in, and I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go. See you in a little bit. So we got the radiator in. It all goes back factory. This was already cracked. We didn't do that today. It was already like that. So factory fans back on for now. Mishimoto makes a fan shroud for the DE, and the reason they don't make one for the HR is because of this integrated, coolant bottle, because it's really just stuck into the fan shroud, and then it's got these two bolts holding it on the radiator. And then speaking of these bolts, Mishimoto doesn't supply you with any of the hardware, and all of the hardware from the factory is self-tampers into the plastics. So you have to source your own hardware, which I think is kind of crap. Like, it's kind of shitty that they don't give you hardware when you spend $300 or $350 or, you know, whatever this is for like a premium radiator. And then, you know, it's, you gotta find your own. I mean, I have extra bolts, so it wasn't that big a deal, but, you know, still one of those things. And they don't line up. So without somebody here, you can see actually right on this bolt right here, we had to like shove this guy over that way. So without two people, it's kind of difficult. I don't know if you'd be able to do it. You could probably do it. It would just be, you'd be cursing. But it's in. All we got to do now is put the intakes back on and then leave the system.
Oh, note, if you're doing this, put the belt on before you put the fans in.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like no
you got
keeping
Yeah, basically it puts the fans and radiator back. I mean, almost. I mean, I'd say that's what, an inch clearance at the best.
Yeah.
It's tight. It's tight on there. So yeah, get your radiator in, then put your belt back on, then put your fans in.
Yeah.
We did it. We had the fans and everything in. We had to squeeze the belt in. It was tight.
It's hard without an assistant.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get this thing bled and down and do the jib jabs, and yeah. But we're gonna go to No Drifts. This is probably gonna stay here. I gotta go get some distilled water and some water wetter. We'll go to No Drifts. We'll pick up that either on the way there or on the way back, and we'll continue this on. We're gonna try to weld up that fan shroud just to see if we can do it. Why not? So we got the Z running. It's a little loud. I'm gonna go out here. Just cranked it up. Gonna let it open up the thermostat and suck down some of that new fresh water we put in there. Got water wetter. Got 4 gallons of distilled water. Probably we won't take all 4 gallons, but we have it just in case. And yeah, we'll be pretty much wrapping this up as long as it doesn't have any leaks. Yesterday tried to weld up that aluminum. Obviously I've never done TIG, never welded aluminum, so it didn't go so great. I didn't ruin the pieces or anything. I was practicing on some scrap that the guys had, and just couldn't really get the welder to do kind of what I was looking for it to do. And that's just me not knowing that machine and never having done TIG before. So my buddy Dom's gonna take a look at it, and I'll probably go over there one day and kind of work with him and just learn a little bit more about TIG, and especially on aluminum, because then you have to have super clean material, super clean tungsten, all that good stuff for it to work. So it is what it is. The factory fans will work, and being that we've got like triple the capacity on this radiator, we should be fine. So that's what we're gonna roll with. And but let's get this system bled and get the car all back together. I don't know if you guys can see, but the fans are working. They're coming on at 207, I think. They come on for low speed. Come on at 207, and then I've got to sit there and rev the car at about 2,500 RPM for a couple minutes to get to 215 or 213. I think it's 213, 215 in that area. High fans kick on and the car cools back down to about 201. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of where Nissan wants it from the factory. It's run around 201, which I think is kind of high. So I'm gonna see if I can get a fan controller that will kick the high fans on at about 200, and then get a thermostat, like a Mishimoto 180 thermostat, to allow the coolant to open up sooner, because right now it's opening up at 195. And that's too high, because you're starting your run at almost 200 degrees, do a lap or two, and then you're at that 230 mark, especially out here in the summer. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now. I mean, it's all working. I don't see any leaks. Everything's good. The radiator's in. It was a pretty straightforward install, other than having to kind of line those bolt holes up and stuff like that, because the Mishimoto wasn't quite where it needed to be. So, but other than that, the car's back together. It's obviously running. Got it up to op temp. It's doing fine. So yeah, that's gonna be it. for this one, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out and watching the video. I know we didn't get the fan shroud done, kind of disappointed in that, but we'll work on it. Maybe by the time we're ready to do those other coolant mods, we'll have that knocked out and sorted. So again, I appreciate you guys coming and watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.